can send it out on social media. I'll put it on the Discord, and then we'll get cracking, I think.
Okay. There we go. Got it.
Now, I don't know if many people get the notification, because apparently on the premiere last night, a lot of people didn't get the notification, they said, so... But I don't think everybody remembers to click the bell. Okay, well, that's what Mesa. Everyone. People overwhelmingly voted for this one, so...
Yeah.
I think I'll stick it on Twitter as well.
Alright, Twitter's got it up.
So if you're just arriving, bear with us a few minutes while we send the link out on social media, and just wait for people to arrive, and then we'll be ready to go. If you're unfamiliar with any of this stuff, we will be going from the very beginning to the very end. So we'll be being as comprehensive and concise as possible.
Yes.
And we will be answering any questions in the chat as well. So. You've put it on. Are you putting it on Facebook now?
Yeah.
The votes are in, and we are streaming this absolute tragic comedy.
Alright.
They're all posted around, yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Alright, let's get cracking. Alright, I just need to bring up the chat on my phone. There we are. Right. Okay, so welcome aboard, folks. Now, those of you who voted on the poll, there was quite a few of you. I can't remember the exact number. I'm going to look at it, actually. Find out the exact number. I can do it on here on the screen, can't I? Come back to this in a moment. Your channel. I can't remember how many votes we did have, but it was definitely the overwhelming majority that voted for. That's just perfect. Thank you to, by the way, to Baptism on Fire for sending me that on Twitter. Very funny image. Really perfect for what we're doing. Oh, yes. Shit, that's quite a lot more comments than I expected. Just quickly check if there's anything I can answer now while I'm on the stream. But yes, if I scroll up a bit, I'll scroll down now. The Fell Creepypasta Convention, 72% of the vote of 552 votes.
Yes.
So it's obvious we're going to do that one. I kind of half expected Chris Chan to win because it's a bit more current. You know, the Creepypasta Convention, no one's heard anything from these guys in over a year. Mm-hmm. Whereas Chris Chan's still relevant, but I'm surprised people picked this one. But I'm kind of glad they did, because it means we can talk about something very different that no one else is talking about.
Yes. It's like, that is a cursed image. Yes, it is.
I'd be very concerned if that rose from a bull pit. Why would it even be a Creepypasta Convention? A bunch of bad cosplayers and the funeral races are mighty underwhelming. Well, we'll get into that in a minute and what actually it was going to be.
I'm pretty sure that picture is a scene from The Big Bang Theory.
Now I'm sad.
You know, a big skinny white, like, you know, a tall skinny white guy, like, comes out of a ball pit. I'm pretty sure they did a whole 5 minutes of trying to make people laugh at that.
Alright, so
This entire channel is cursed.
It's true. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely true. Okay, so the Creepypasta convention was supposed to be happening this year. Well, not this year now, 2020, which of course we're on the cusp of welcoming in 2020. We're at the very end now of 2019. Mm-hmm. About to enter a new year, a new decade, very exciting time. Partly because we finally know what to call the decade we're in, which since the year 2000 has been something nobody can fucking agree on. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a bit of an arse pain for future historians, but now we're arriving in a decade we can actually call the 20s, and that'll be a thing, and that's fine.
Yeah, because it was called, like, it was the noughties, and then it was...
It was never the noughties, all right? Yeah. It was called the 2000s, and that's the issue. There was far too much discourse. But this convention was meant to be happening. So it was first announced, at least I can find the earliest postings of it in June of 2018.
Yeah.
And it seemed for 2 months, various social media platforms run by these people, the Creepypasta convention people, the names of whom I know some of, we'll be talking about them in a little while and their contributions to the Creepypasta community. It's always good that Creepy Leaks is the first thing you see when you click Creepypasta convention. Mm-hmm. But the actual Creepypasta convention themselves, they appeared on Facebook, Twitter, and their own website.
Tumblr a little bit as well.
This is their own website here, creepypastaconvention.com. Still exists, still there. They've obviously paid for the domain for a while longer. No cancellation was ever announced, but on the 21st of July, they stopped posting on all of those things. And we're going to be talking a little bit about why. But we're going to scroll down in the hashtag. Well, we'll do that later because every time I click off, it seems to scroll back up. So we're doing that a little while. But they emerged, and then on the 21st, they disappeared. And there have been some attempts to sweep it under the carpet. A lot of stuff has been deleted, but these guys never deleted their account, and their tweets are all up. A lot of other people who talked about the Creepypasta convention in a positive light have since deleted their tweets. Mm-hmm. And we don't even have screenshots anymore. But a lot of other people, they'd leave traces of it. Mr. Creepypasta, for example, posted about an interview with this cunt, Kay Banning Kellum, the author of Jeff the Killer 2015, who is also a complete scumbag, and we'll get onto him in a little while.
Wait, that guy is 40? 40?
Yeah.
The guy who wrote Jeff the Killer 2015 was, like, in his 30s.
Yeah, and, this is a guy who I've seen, at the very least, casually flirt with much, much younger people. But this is the guy, Mr. Kellum, who was kind of the face of the official Creepypasta Con. But yeah, it's from June the 21st to July 21st, one month. It was all over the internet, and then boom, it was gone.
Yep.
So there's been a lot of attempts to sweep it under the carpet. So what happened? Where did it come from? Who were the people that wanted to run it? So we're gonna read the FAQ, because that's going to encapsulate a lot of these things. And we've also got an announcement video. Now, this actually dropped the day before all discussion disappeared. But there's also a fair bit of interesting information about their philosophy here on this video, which was released by somebody called Madame Macabre, who I don't watch, but I'm sure is a perfectly nice lady, but I don't know anything about her other than she wears cuck glasses and a thought collar. But I'm sure she's perfectly nice.
She did those songs that had like based on specific characters of Creepypasta, like the Jeff the Killer song.
Oh, a lot of people do things like that. I mean, you need to be a lot more specific. There's a lot of shit like that in the community, or at least there was back then.
I'm pretty sure I played one of them for you and Toby, and I think Toby threatened to throw my phone out the window.
Ball pits are just gross. Is this just the Kilroy convention? My God, right? Kilroy, what the fuck happened with that? Anyway, that's potentially a future video. This is only our second time doing this, one of these streams. Now, I really thought we'd pick an actual specific Lolcow, because obviously we did Onision last time, which was a surprising success. But now we're going to crack on with this. So, So we heard you're creating a Creepypasta convention. Now, this is up online for anybody to read. How's everyone doing? We hope quite well. So this is not a good way to start. If this is an FAQ for an official event.
Yep.
Perhaps speaking in this conversational manner isn't the best way to start.
Yep.
Real people with real passion for horror and all its related subgenres, you know, like creepypasta. After all, if it weren't for a love of reading, writing, and celebrating a good scare, we probably would have never found our way into this great community. I mean, is it a great community? It's a community that throws victims under the bus because God knows we can't lose, people who steal content because they're the absolute paragons of the community. And if somebody like Mr. Creepypasta sinks, then, the whole community is lost. But forget about authors and, victims of sex crimes. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. We're planning an amazing convention for all things creepypasta related. Okay? Are you going to tell us more? Set to take place in the summer of 2020. So that's not too far away now.
No, that's about 6 months away.
And remember, there hasn't been any information since July the 21st.
Yep.
So we've launched a website, which I know I'm on it, which will update regularly to provide the most current information. And we have a Twitter account so all of you can talk to us. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily this Twitter account, but the people affiliated with it and the people helping you run the convention did go through a massive blocking frenzy, which when you were questioned about it, you got all defensive and evasive and didn't answer the question. Even though you're saying anybody can talk to you. Since we officially announced this convention just a few days ago, we've received some incredible support in the form of volunteers, VIPs, and lots of great vibes and community approval. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to pause the FAQ for a second and have a wander over to Twitter and have a look at the hashtag Creepypasta Con. Peculiar how one can go from not knowing where a convention is to part of the team in less than 24 hours. There's just this guy, Hey Productions, who previously had me blocked but doesn't seem to anymore.
Yeah, I was blocked by him as well. I think I've got a screen grab of that somewhere on my phone.
People are talking about damage control. Vince Vinacarva has blocked 3 people this week who have never spoken to him. Lots and lots of videos of this person. I don't know who this is. Autumn Ivy. Again, she looks like an e-girl. I don't know. That's not, I don't know who she is.
That's Hey Productions. Yeah.
And again, there's a lot of this, like, Creepypasta Con just retweeting, other people. It's the same people. Look, lots of community support, but all the positive stuff is from Autumn Ivy, Kay Banning Kellum, who it turns out was partly running the convention. You guys, think about how you were calling yourself CPC. Sounds like Chris Hansen will have a lovely time being your very special guest. I mean, you don't know how true that is, Jack. Seeing so much shit about the Creepypasta convention, quite frankly, this has me scratching my head. Paranormal investigator had my fair share of creepy experiences. So there's a lot of just like shows evidence of this Creepypasta convention talking about killing a Creepypasta writer, and we are going to get on that one. But community approval, I think, is it's a relative term. I don't know if it's a term I would use when it's hardly been unanimous, the approval.
Definitely not. Also, great vibes.
I can't wait to go. That was 2 years ago. Right, if they report this live stream, we report the Creepypasta community and the fandom and the convention. Also,
vibe check denied.
Basically. Okay, how did this come to be? Now, this is the question I'm sure a lot of people in the chat are wondering about, because I bet most of you fuckers, like me, are not big Creepypasta fans, but you're aware enough of what it is and are involved enough to be a fan of this show. You might think, like, well, surely I'd have heard about a Creepypasta convention. What the fuck happened? Well, about 6 months ago, so now, about 2 years ago, this will be now, a rather obvious question was brought up in a blog post on the Creepypasta wiki. Has there ever been a Creepypasta convention? And if not, could one happen? No, it couldn't.
No.
Certainly not if it was run like this.
Not like Dashcon.
It does get very Dashcon. This was a very good question indeed, and one that sparked much conversation. A cleric of madness, this fucker, right? Long-time writer and administrator for the Creepypasta wiki, and a few other dedicated individuals began to discuss this. This guy, by the way, pretty much voted for his own story to win the Jeff the Killer rewrite competition.
Yep.
Our silent partner, which is Fist, had the right resources and connections for all sorts of operational needs. Okay, so who is Fist? Are we going to find out more about them? Who are the Creepypasta Convention Committee? Now, this is where it gets fun, guys, because now we get names. We get to talk about who these people are.
Oh, Bean Daddy Mandela, thank you very much for the $9.99. The whole convention thing being abandoned is very mysterious. I hope Matrix-esque agents don't show up at your door and make you guys disappear for asking questions about things you shouldn't be. And Uncle Octopus, thank you. Just wanted to donate. Have a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you both very much, lads. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you too. Now, they'll probably just do what they did to Hudo Hoodlum's Revenge and hold a gun to my head and make me retract everything I said.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, that's old news. But the Creepypasta Convention is old news, you know, but it's something a lot of people don't know about, and you guys voted for it. So, and I think it's interesting. And to be honest, I think this is the kind of stuff that should be discussed because it is the kind of thing that has been swept under the carpet. Nobody in the community wants to admit that this shit went as wrong as it did. Nobody wants to admit how scummy these people are as well, and the kind of shit they got up to. And it does get really fucking dodgy. If you haven't read the CreepyLeaks document, that's going to tie into this as well. That came at around about the same time this convention was announced. I think this convention was announced a matter of days before CreepyLeaks hit the internet.
A lot of people are asking about what happened with Hoodoo. I'll just sort of do a very, very brief explanation.
Yeah.
Basically, when we did the CreepyLeaks thing last year, Jose Hoodoo was part of the conversation and he made himself a video about the CreepyLeaks, and because he was probably the most the most subscribed YouTuber that had covered the topic, he was apparently approached by someone who knew Mr. Creepypasta and a bunch of people that were mentioned in CreepyLeaks, and he deleted that video, the first video, and the second video was a little bit more...
Yeah. Well, the first video, he said nothing inflammatory. He was very fair. He said things like allegedly or this may have happened.
Yes.
And then in the second one, he started backpedaling. Well, it's all old news. You know, it's all in the past. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was very suspect. And, you know, as his friend, I asked him about it. And he assured me at the time that nothing suspect had happened. But it was very strange.
Yeah.
Especially as other YouTubers who were not as popular started doing the same thing. A lot of videos on the topic began to disappear.
Yes.
Mine didn't. Mine's still up.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of other guys who still have theirs up as well. Basically, people like me who are known for being confrontational and not bowing, not bending the knee, our videos are still up. But other people in the community who are more involved in the community and would go to something like this, those people basically were told to shut up.
Yeah.
And again, we are going to be talking a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just so you know, guys.
Yeah, this was like a year ago.
This was
like
a year ago.
Yeah, like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
We're only bringing it up because it fits the time frame of this of this event.
Yeah,
all this shit happened around about the same time.
Yeah, and we are cool as well. Like we still talk to him on occasion. So
yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, my friendship with him has mostly deteriorated into us just sending each other memes. Yeah. But that's what most of my friendships are online.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy, Andrew Movitz, founder of the Creepypasta Wiki, publisher of the anthology series We Go Bump, and author of many horror stories. He can be found on Twitter, all this stuff, right? But here's
Cleric of Madness.
Okay, Mr. Banning Killam, longtime writer of horror stories, as well as a couple non-fiction products. I mean, yeah, don't worry about proofreading your FAQ on your official website. Banning hit the scene in 2014. Within a couple of years, he was invited to join the Creepypasta Wiki admin team. He spearheaded many exciting Unity-driven projects. Tobit series and all this, remake of Jeff the Killer. Yeah, and again, he was involved in the judging of that competition, the Jeff the Killer 2015 competition. And oddly enough, he won. His own story won, even though he was involved in the...
I think he wrote that.
Yeah.
Because he's like, his related skills include, but not limited to.
Yeah, I think this is from his resume. Mm-hmm. But here's where it gets interesting. Fist is our silent partner. He deals behind the scenes and had already established himself as one of the most valuable members of the team with his knowledge and connections that allow the business end of this operation to grow. His skills include, but not limited to, who is this person?
Crypto trader. Is he off the deep web or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like... And when we think about some of the things that they say about their detractors later on, because we'll soon learn, in fact I'll spoil it for you now, that these people very quickly climbed into bed with Mr. Creepypasta, as anyone who isn't his wife tends to do. Did I miss a super chat?
Oh.
Huda may have been replayed with a robot. Offer him some batteries as a snack and see what he says just to be sure. Yeah, and I'm not having to go at the guy. He's my friend, and this was a year and a half ago. He assured me at the time he wasn't strong-armed at all. I'm not by any means calling him a liar. I'm just saying how it looked to me as an outsider.
Yeah, Anya Harvey. I actually helped Slime Beast with the Creepy Leaks back in 2018, and I actually wrote PDF explaining why I liked the CPF and what NTS and I did not like. Yeah, I had somebody send me it was somebody sent me the PDF of Creepy Leaks, which I passed on to Jacob. Yeah. So
it kind of exploded when we read the Creepypasta Leaks. The stream just went fucking mental. It was just full.
Yeah.
And like people from the community rolled up, like quote unquote celebrities. I mean, no one in this community is an actual celebrity, but like people who are community famous, whatever for what little that is worth. It's like fighting in the comments and stuff. It was fucking crazy. But it was fun. It was a fun stream. Even though it got horrible at times when we were reading some of the shit things they did. It was an interesting and fun stream. But yeah, these guys, they talk about these writers and things, but the people they ended up having as sort of the guests of honour, and these guys that would basically sink the con, were Mr. Creepypasta, Old Man Murphy, and Vincent Vinacava, whose names are not mentioned here, but these guys are starting to set on the East Coast. So here we are, they've got their FAQ here, and as far as we know, for a convention that, again, has not been formally cancelled. No cancellation message was ever sent. No, none of their social media sites have been closed. None of their social media accounts have been shut. They just abandoned ship. And here they are at a convention that is meant to take place in a matter of months, and no venue was ever chosen. Our sites are set on the East Coast. This is based off a survey analysis, as our goal is to provide the best location based on the needs of the community. You know what their survey analysis was?
What?
I actually know. It was a Twitter poll. They polled, where should we have the convention?
I mean, you can do that if you're doing something small like a meet and greet, but not a fucking convention.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we did for our meet and greet. Well, where should we have it? Everyone voted for Canterbury. So I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of people turned up. It was still more successful than this.
Yeah, more successful than Dashcon. There is a couple of people in the chat that are asking what Creepy Leaks was.
Okay, so you can find a stream of the complete reading on this channel. Effectively, it was a document and a hashtag on Twitter, which was all about the shitty behaviour of certain people in the Creepypasta community. Notably, the guys I was just talking about, Vincent Vinacava, Mr. Creepypasta, and Old Man Murphy. Yeah, also known as Well Hey Productions. These fucking guys, they misappropriated funds. They crowdfunded, which is what we're going to talk about in a minute. They crowdfunded and stole the money. Mr. Creepypasta spent other people's money that was supposed to be for a book, I think, or for a tour, and he spent it on a suit of armour, and I think some extensions for his house.
On a wedding, maybe.
Yes, and he he also knocked up one of his fans, and refused to support the girl, and of course everyone in the community, and this is why this community is so toxic, everyone in the community went, well, Mr. Creepypasta and his wife, they're okay with the fact he had an affair. I'm like, yeah, but what about the third person who was carrying his child? Yeah. That's, maybe we should talk about that, but no, apparently. So all that got buried. So you think, if people are going to have a go at me and say, oh, Cobe's fucking dredging up the past. This shit matters. Alright, this stuff happened. And the community, this family, shall we say, what was the hashtag they started using? I think it's hashtag We Are You. This wonderful little family. They buried victims because they wanted to make sure to prop up these people who aren't creators, who have no artistic integrity and certainly no personal integrity, because oh no, we can't lose Mr. Creepypasta. Mm-hmm. We can't, lose a gaggle of dickless imbeciles whose entire contribution to this community is stealing from other people, making false copyright claims, stealing content, stealing money. Hey, fuck those guys. Crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is a part of the conversation, yes, but our goal is to avoid it as much as possible, if not altogether. However, we cannot rule out the option. At this phase of development, we cannot rule out anything. Right, so you had a finite amount of time. You knew that you were supposed to be doing this 2 years from the time of posting.
Yeah.
It's supposed to take place in the summer of 2020. You have no plan.
There is no plan there.
You've got all these people. So this crypto trader, Banning, who's apparently worked in tourism, although whatever that means. I've worked in tourism, I can't run a convention.
I've worked in tourism, so...
And you fucking Kathleen Kennedy'd it. You've charged in headlong with absolutely no plan. By the way, has anyone seen the new Star Wars? I said to Gemma, I said, no one's going to come to the stream. I forgot Star Wars opens tonight. No one's going to come. There's a bunch of you here because fucking no one went to see Star Wars.
Yeah, 136.
Yeah, nobody fucking went to see Star Wars. That's why.
Yeah, pretty much what I can say, right? Like looking, I will not call myself anyone who's got a lot of business sense, but like I have more business sense than these people, and the fact that these people should have had a business plan. These people should have had they should be planning this they shouldn't have announced it within the 6 months that they were planning it. They should have gotten all their ducks in a row, then announced it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is not how it works. You can't just announce something and go, look, 2 years from now, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. How are we going to do it?
The very nature of planning the event and all the possible challenges that could appear over the next 24 months can easily change the landscape of even the best laid blueprints. But you have no blueprints. That's the thing. Is this going to be another insert failed con type project? Do we know the possibility of failure? I mean, it was. Because it never happened. That is a dangerous way of thinking. We are developing each phase of the operation with contingencies in mind. I mean, you didn't have a contingency for...
this.
Yeah, for the 3 big guys you got on board, your first guests, sinking your entire convention. You should have jumped ship. We're trying to study what others have done wrong and avoid their follies. Can you give us some examples? Okay, actually, that's the next question, forgive me. We know that the success of the first convention will determine the path for any future attempts, so we want to get this right.
And you did.
By disappearing from social media and giving no reason for doing it. I know the reason. Well, I suspect I know the reason, because there are some dates that are very interesting, but again, I'm getting ahead of myself because I get very excited by how bad this gets. Mm-hmm. How are you going to do that? As much as you would love to provide intricate details of the planning process, that would simply be bad business. Fucking hell. It means that you don't know. That's what that means. It means you haven't got a clue.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
We have many layers set in motion. There will always be a need to shift, evolve, and these are just buzzwords.
Okay, Shrek layers.
We have many layers set in motion. There will always be a need to shift, evolve.
That's buzzwords.
Yeah, this is literally just some guy at a presentation who doesn't really know what he's talking about. He's like, fellas, we're thinking about things way too inside the box here. We got to start shifting paradigms.
Yeah, it's basically just like a little toy, a little shiny toy, just going, look at the shiny toy.
And a very fucking obscure reference here, but does anyone remember the episode of Daria where the dad joins a .com company?
Yes.
He has to give a presentation. That's literally this.
It's like, seize the moment, carpe diem.
Yeah, do you have any guests or VIPs? So they didn't actually hire any really interesting people or authors. The first thing I would have done is been like, okay, who's cool? Not even who's popular, but who's good for the community. I wouldn't have given a shit about narrators for a start. Narrators don't mean shit. I'd have just been like, right, we need some good writers.
Yeah.
People who've had success outside of Creepypasta to do like writing workshops and panels, I would have gone to those guys who made Marble Hornets, Tribe 12, had an entire YouTube section. And these are just ideas I'm having now, like while I'm reading
Alex Hall.
Yeah, all those guys. I mean, these are the people you should have talked to. But no, they went to a bunch of fucking phonies.
People...
Experienced and influential members of the creepypasta community. I hate this phrase because it's not a community. It's not a community. When you ignore victims, it's not a community. When you only care about who gets the most views, it's not a community.
It's a dictatorship.
Yeah, effectively, it's a cult.
Yeah.
A cult, not even of personality, because Mr. Creepypasta has none, with his boring, monotonous voice. Also, the general convention scene. Please stay tuned. And so this is basically no. I mean, I know that eventually they did announce, again, those three guys, but this is no. You know, your website should be covered in pictures of who's going to be at the convention and who they are.
That's convention.
I mean, go on any like Comic-Con website or something. They'll be like, here's the guy who played Flash Gordon, and you know, here's this guy from one of the Jurassic Park movies.
So
here's this guy from Doctor Who. It's like,
here's David Prowse.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool. I've always wanted to meet that person. Here's some of the Power Rangers. Like, I want to know who's at the convention. Yeah. I don't fucking know who's at the convention. This is, again, I know it's not going to happen, but they have never officially cancelled it. It's coming in a matter of months, supposedly. I don't know who's going to be there.
Because that's the thing, that people are going to be like, well, the fact is, you haven't said it's cancelled. You haven't said it's cancelled, so how are we supposed to realise that it's not going to happen? The amount of people that are still commenting on videos that I've seen, like, especially like as little as a few months ago, that are like, when is this happening? And there was somebody, I saw a comment earlier today, and it was basically like, oh, I probably won't go to this one, but I'll probably go to the one in 2021, 2022. Like, she could already still, like, she was like thinking that there was going to be another, like, more than one.
Fucking madness.
Yeah.
Just having a quick breeze through the chat, seeing what people are saying. Only Sion has layers. Only Sion's fake meltdown vocoded to the Tetris theme. I watched that as well.
Yes.
We will do I know everyone loved the Only Sion stream. We will do another one when more drama develops. Probably when he goes to jail.
Yeah.
Or there's some more stuff coming out about Kai, so maybe. But you know, I don't want to milk it when it's not. If I haven't got anything to say. Why can't you tell us now? Here's the really important question, isn't it? As with any venture where there is money to be made or lost, promises to be kept, and a community to serve, the release of information must be deliberate and planned. I mean, again, you had no plan. You fucking Kathleen Kennedy did it. While we are always happy to discuss your concerns via our Twitter, unless we mail, the basic rules of launching a convention are no different than those of any other business. There will always be aspects of the operation intended for the showroom, and there will always be aspects intended for the boardroom. It wasn't a boardroom though, guys. It was a Discord server, and you had people in that Discord server who weren't friends, and they leaked some of the things you said that sank your convention. But again, we'll get there.
Yeah.
The chief reason for this is simple: information leaks, which you had, cause plans to be redesigned. Most of the time, those redesigns do not serve the community or the creators well at all. You don't serve the community with your shitty behaviour. Any info that cannot be freely shared with the general public is done so to ensure that the general public receives the best info when it is released. Again, this is just jargon. We heard there would be no background checks for volunteers. Isn't that dangerous? Well, I mean, there's no background checks for fucking guests, right? When you're having scum like fucking Vincent Vina Carver there, you're not going to have background checks for volunteers. But yes, it is dangerous. The safety and security of our guests is the single most important aspect of running this operation. All members of our working volunteer staff will be fully vetted before they can attend in any official capacity. Okay, but why have we heard there would be no background checks? Isn't that dangerous? I mean, you haven't answered that question. You've gone, they will be vetted. What do you mean by that? Can you be more specific? We'll continue to update this document or release further installments as soon as we are able to. Nope, you won't. In the meantime, please stay up to date with us through our Twitter and website. Nope, because you stopped on July 21st. And we hope to see you all in 2020. And you won't, because the convention is clearly cancelled, although you've refused to say it publicly. And again, the last one, July the 21st, seems to be the go-to thing.
Is this a WordPress account?
It just says creepypasta.com. But judging by this, I would say yes, it is a WordPress account because it has these things.
Then it's definitely free. And that's and that is my WordPress.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got your logo there and the right button and everything. They might be cropped for the people in the stream, but
do you know what? I just realised that actually I might have all my this is just I might have all my stuff that I did at college, which I'd like to look at again at some point. So I'm glad that's still in there.
I mean, surely, yes, the WordPress thing is free, but surely they had to pay for the domain of creepypastaconvention.com though. Because it would be .wordpress or something.
Yeah, that is true.
So they would have to have bought this domain, which they've probably bought it up until the summer of next year, because that's when the convention's supposed to be, and then it will disappear, and it will be as though none of this discussion ever happened. So, as you can see, the Irate Gamer released a video called "What's This? a convention? Or a test of patience?" So we're going to have a little listen now to somebody called Madame Macabre, and I just think it's an interesting little video. We're not going to play the whole thing, or it probably won't, because I don't like getting copyright struck, but we'll have a quick listen to some of the things that are said on this video.
I genuinely don't think... I think she...
Hello again, everyone. It's me, Madame Macabre, and welcome to a new video. Today, I've got a very exciting announcement for you guys about a new event on the horizon. So, if you know anything about me, you know...
Okay, so this, again, was posted the day before everything went silent. And there were some interesting leaks that came out this day as well. But I don't know who this person is, but apparently very influential in the community. 332,000 subscribers, significantly more than not only that I have, but more than I'll probably ever have. So this is somebody quite big in the community. It's interesting they've left this video up. Again, it wasn't like with Creepy Leaks. They didn't get strong-armed into shutting it down. So sorry. Anyway, sorry, Miss Thoughtcaller. Continue. I said continue.
Oh, I just love conventions, particularly horror-related conventions. But I've often thought, while I love the old monster movies and all the traditional horror stuff, that it would be really great to have an event that's more catered around modern online horror, from things like...
No, it wouldn't. Let's call a spade. Nobody wanted this. There is not a person out there who wanted this event to take place. There's like you and a handful of other people on Twitter. Nobody else cared. And the only reason I give a shit is because, one, it's funny.
Yep.
And two, the people involved were absolute scumbags who still have careers, and they deserve to be exposed for the people they are.
Yep.
Our creepypasta community, No Sleep, and various other sources. Well, that's what the folks behind the Creepypasta Convention have in mind. I've recently started working with the team, and it's very exciting. It is an awesome, diverse group of people made up of authors, narrators, musicians, artists, etc. All sorts of amazing people from our online community, and they're all bringing lots of great energy and ideas to the
Who? We only know the people who are running it, which are not amazing creators. There's the guy who started the website, a guy who wrote a terrible story that was worse than the original, and then voted for it to win in a competition he was judging. Some other people who, again, people who just contribute to the wiki. I don't know anything about these people. And somebody who is literally a mysterious deep web assassin. What fucking great contributors are there to this convention? What did you know, and why was no one announcing shit?
Project, and are all just really passionate about making this reality. Now I realize, given some past startup convention shenanigans that have gone on recently, people may be a little bit gun-shy about any new conventions trying to launch. Well, that's where we're taking things a little bit differently with the Creepypasta Convention. See, we currently have it set as Creepypasta Convention 2020. That gives us...
That's interesting. This is we.
2 full years to get our act together and all our ducks nicely in a row. None of this 2-month nonsense.
Okay, where was her name on the website? Did I miss it somewhere? Is it one of these? Is she one of these people?
I wouldn't say so.
It's difficult to say, isn't it? But I mean, could be this person. I don't know who Madame Macabre is off of YouTube, but it seems bizarre. It seems like the only people talking about the convention at the time were people involved in the convention or people trying to actively stop it. It just seems like, you know, you released this video kind of with a title that suggests I just heard about this event, but you're saying that you're involved. I don't know. It doesn't quite sit right with me.
Yeah, they kind of
We're about actually getting things done professionally, because we really want this to be an amazing thing for everybody in the community to enjoy and be proud of. Thus, we are setting...
Unless they criticize you, in which case they should be shunned, blocked, and their, you know, experiences, some of them with, you know, things like sexual assault, invalidated.
Realistic goals for ourselves, thus a realistic timeline. That means things start moving a bit slowly, but baby steps are what make it to a full-fledged convention. And though we're just taking baby steps right now, isn't that part of the excitement? I mean, how often do you really get to see the founding and birth of a brand new convention, especially if it's something you're passionate about? I've personally never been around for the founding of one of the conventions I regularly go to.
There we are. One other person involved in the Creepypasta convention who's never put on a convention, who has zero experience. Mm-hmm. So, to recap, how many people have put on a convention before? Not Andrew.
Definitely not Banning.
So look at Banning. Works in various fields of tourism and hospitality. Okay, not Banning. Military experience and planning and organisation, but has never put on a convention, so not Shadow Swimmer. Vingel has not put on a convention. And Fist we don't know anything about and is very, very dodgy. Yeah, so none of these people knew anything about putting on a convention. And when reached out to by people who had put on conventions, they shut them down and didn't want to talk to them.
She looks like the surprise Pikachu.
I don't want to make fun of real people for the way they look, but yeah. I mean, I did make fun of them having a thought collar earlier, so I mean, I suppose I'm already falling down that rabbit hole. But you're right, just like that face is like Creepypasta community doesn't happen. Planners. That's quite memeable, isn't it, that face? I'm not telling people to make memes about it. I'm just leaving it on the screen for a moment, for entirely unrelated reasons. I'm not saying that people ought to meme that.
So she sounds like an American Gemma. Thanks. I did see someone was like, I'm 40% sure that's Gemma's long lost American cousin. I'm like... So I was like, don't hold back. Insult her. Do it.
July 2nd. All right, so here, and these are some of the people talking about the Creepypasta convention as well.
A little bit of your time to talk about the Creepypasta convention that's being planned for 2020. Now, when I volunteered, I really...
Superpowered by 2020.
But after talking to these guys and working with them for just a short amount of time, it's a welcome breath of fresh air to see how much professionalism they have, the dedication that they...
How much professionalism they have. Now, I know we've made fun of them a bit already, but keep that in mind for when we listen to their Discord conversations.
And the go-to attitude to make this work. It's really fantastic, the strides that they're making, with the financial planning and, the location and this, that, the other thing. Everything that needs to go into making a convention work, not only work, but actually to be successful. It's fantastic to see all of this come together. Not only have I, volunteered my services, but there's a lot of great people that are are becoming a part of this that I've known for years, and it's fantastic to see everyone come together for something that they love. So big shout outs to all the guys and all the gals that are back at in the Creepypasta Convention chat. It's been fantastic working with you so far, and I foresee so many great things with the ideas of what different panels, VIPs, all these different events that could happen during.
All these events that could happen but won't, and we won't explain any further. So yes, the part of that I really want you to keep in mind is, one, he says that this guy is volunteering, but obviously as a guest. K-Ban, this fucking guy, he's done a lot of videos about the convention. He was a big part of it, and I know people that have had run-ins with him, but the word professionalism is what I want you guys to keep in mind, and just keep that in the back of your mind for the duration of the stream. More of this, more of these people.
Of the Creepypasta Convention for 2020. As you guys know, I have a lot of convention experience. I've been around the block with a lot of things. Comic book writing, narrating, acting, horror, voice acting, a lot of shenanigans.
I don't know who this person is, so she could be a real voice actor, but just because we're talking about Creepypasta narrators who call themselves voice actors, to me, that's like a guy at a gas station who presses your panini for you, calling himself a chef.
Includes of course, involvement in the cosplay community. With that being said, I've done security and a lot of other stuff, and I want to make sure that you guys know that we are doing everything in our power to make this one of the best conventions that you could possibly attend.
Such as, what are you doing?
We have a lot of people putting their heart and their soul into this.
What does that mean? What are they doing specifically?
The volunteers have all been great. Obviously, we have a lot of experience in regards to talent and management, and just some really awesome people that are bringing some phenomenal ideas to the table.
For example?
The best part is that we get to take everyone collectively, fans, narrators, writers, directors of stuff, and people who are involved in various facets of the convention community, not just necessarily for Creepypasta, but just, horror-related things in general that can bring ideas. Writers, of course, that maybe don't just do Creepypasta, but being able to have everyone come together collectively with all of their ideas is...
You're just saying a bunch of words.
Yeah.
Every single one of these videos is just people saying words, just rambling. None of them are saying anything of any value. Nothing. So, July 21st is when it all goes wrong. And these guys just fucking disappear. Mm-hmm. They stop posting everywhere. And... yeah, they stop posting everywhere, and they just disappear. They don't delete their things, but certain things get deleted. Mr. Creepypasta did an interview with K-Ban and Kellum about the convention and some other stuff. That interview was gone. His tweet about the interview still exists. The interview is gone. Why did it all disappear? Now, nobody knows for certain, but I think it may have something to do with two videos. Mm-hmm. Now, remember when they said the boardroom, which of course is actually, as we know, a Discord server. Mm-hmm. Here are some bits of audio from that Discord server. Now, I should like to remind you all that one of the things that the Creepypasta Convention staff were being bombarded with was concerns from, myself included, but from a lot of people at the time, about them having Mr. Creepypasta, Vincent Vina Carver, and Well Hey Productions, who are very, very shitty and had done a lot of bad things, which were documented in the Creepy Leaks document. Now, these conversations, went on. So let's have a listen to some of the things that were said in these Discord streams, in the Discord calls, rather.
Moving forward,
about Slime Beast, of course, was the man who put the series of documents together and released it to the public.
That's on the logistical team. So me and Kelsey, that are at least here right now, we're really going to have to buckle down with some people.
Note the date of this upload.
let their emotions get the better of them and try and confront these people, or just get too engaged.
What happened? What's happened in particular in that regard?
Nothing in particular yet.
Okay.
But I'm just saying. You even just said with Shadow Swimmer. I mean, he was ready to throw information out there. While it's not directly pertaining to the convention, that's still a sign of something. And I think that, and I mean, I'm throwing some of my security background in here, but we really need to buckle down and make sure there are no, loose ends in this group, and we need to make sure we're running a tight ship. Or we have to start this early.
And that's the first thing I said. Especially with, me being former military and Shadow still being in the military, I said, dude, you know what the fuck OPSEC is? They scream it at you every freaking day, like, why the hell would, and then you gave it to our biggest fucking problem child. Like, it's not like you shared it with your mom and dad and your mom put it on her Facebook page. No, you gave it to the fucker that wants to destroy us.
Oh yeah, you skip steps 2 and 3, and you just went straight to step 4.
and this is the point that I do try to get, because everybody does keep kind of saying, "Oh, Slime Beast is not a threat." He can be. He is not an
most
immediate
definitely.
threat. He's not an immediate threat, but he can fuck us.
Oh yeah, and I mean, and he has more than a motivation because we've picked up people like Spike and Murphy and Vincent. We've picked up all these people, and they're great people. But it does paint a target on our back, and we just have to move forward recognizing that.
So, again, these guys, they were aware that it was a problem to have these guys who, were liars, thieves, and worse, to have these guys as their sort of guests of honor, but they just doubled down. It's going to get worse. But again, keep that word professionalism in your mind.
Not only that, but, he's not a journalist. He has no fucking integrity. He plays by no rules. He's not that guy that's sitting there writing an article and then thinking, is this too harsh? Is this going to do more damage than good? No, he's going, is this going to do more damage than damage? Because that's how much damage I want to do. Mm-hmm. Like, Slime Beast wants this to fail. Like, that is the mantra of the freaking night. He doesn't.
This is absolutely true. Slime Beast did want the convention to fail. And why would he want that? Well, I mean, let's have a listen to some more.
We have been buried in our Discord chat. We have been rolling for almost 2 days straight. We had a meeting last night that ran until just about, like 4 in the morning or something like that. I mean, and then all day today, we've just been grinding away on stuff.
That don't involve having this guy a part of my life. I don't want him living in my head 24/7.
Yeah. So, I give you all I don't think it would bother me to the point where I would lose sleep, but I would probably be the one that would eventually get on there and be like, look here, fuckstick, stop. I might do that. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I've definitely fantasized about killing the guy. I know where he lives.
Now, I don't know how good my connection is for playing things on YouTube with already quite bad sound quality. But if what you heard there, and by the way, this is Gemma's fault, there's all this Reddit shit on the side.
Yeah, I've just explained it in the chat.
Yeah. Because I personally think this is all garbage content. But anyway, you didn't mishear if what you heard was I fantasized about killing the guy. I know where he lives.
I've been going for like 2 weeks already.
I could do it, It would I'd probably get about, who knows, maybe with all the shit I've been through, maybe if I get a good lawyer, I'd get off in like 10 years.
These are... Remember that Old Man Murphy was impressed by the professionalism of these people. Their professionalism.
I don't have a record.
They'd look at his Twitter page and they'd probably be like, you know what? You are free to go, sir.
But that's the thing, like, do I want to waste 10 years of my life or more on fucking this loser?
Now, let's have a look here. And then, of course, I'm excited. And then everything kind of goes tits up. This video above shows evidence of the Creepypasta Con talking about killing a Creepypasta writer. And yeah, it all just kind of goes a bit tits up there. Happened upon Creepypasta. So people who are working with Creepypasta Convention, threatening people, doxing them. Other members are trying to hide it. It's time to kick them off the team. I'm concerned. And for the people who want to attend, this is not how you run things. False flagging is bad. Trying to hide it makes me think that the people at Creepypasta Convention don't care about others, not even those who look up to you. Hashtag we are you. Actually, the hashtag I was talking about earlier they were using at the time is a load of bull. You are not protecting people. You are allowing your volunteers to hurt those in your community. You so desperately. There's more, I think, later. Just want to say that the Creepypasta Convention using the We Are You hashtag are terrible people who are obsessed with trying to harm an author in any way possible. Anyone who supports this scam of a convention can't have good intentions. Horror cons are abundant in summer. This is true. It's not like there's a lack of conventions for horror where you can meet people who are authors, horror aficionados, horror experts, people who are actors in horror movies. There's plenty of that to go around. And we never needed a Creepypasta Convention. Just talking to a friend at work about the Creepy Leaks and Mr. Creepypasta situation, asked why these guys are acting like divas when they're not even famous. And then Mr. Macabre just talking about something else. Great video by Madame Macabre. The Creepypasta Convention is... this person is a furry, so obviously we have to take what they say with a pinch of salt, but the Creepypasta Convention is chaired by dishonest, disingenuous and disrespectful individuals who are incapable of properly and politely conducting a conversation, let alone a convention. This is all true. So out of pure curiosity, I went to the Creepypasta Convention website and sent them a respectful message asking if the convention was finished. This was in October, so of course they hadn't said anything since July the 21st.
I've interacted with the Lolliet. He's a really... he's cool.
And then a respectful message asking if the convention was finished. I only did this because the Twitter and the website was still up, and the members I've messaged have given me... And there's me, look. The website is still up. This is from February of this year, promising the 2020 event, but no post in September. Oh, there's been a post in September, apparently. I can't seem to find it, but I'll have a look, see if I can locate it. Creepypasta Convention actually happened? No, of course not. Creepypasta Convention is talking about, again, July 21st. July 21st... If I do it like this, might be easier. No answer because they're not sure. I've said they can't really answer me. And this was in October of that year. And no further information has been released. I would go on their Facebook. Annoyingly, neither myself or Gemma can remember our Facebook passwords, so we can't get into Facebook. And if you're not logged in, it puts this massive banner across the screen, which is really annoying. But let's have a look. Yeah, apparently there was stuff posted in September that I sort of forgot about. It'll be in updates, so let's have a look over there. But the Twitter stopped on July 21st, the same day the Facebook stopped. This was the same day that the murder leaks came out. So I don't know if that's a coincidence. It does seem strange that they stopped posting on social media when they were caught threatening someone they didn't like with murder. Mm-hmm.
Hashtag we are you. Hashtag cool to be cool.
Maybe we'll still get to go to a location with Fire Festival. Yeah, I mean, Fire Festival certainly was not what they were promised, but it at least was an event.
Welcome, ghouls and ghoulettes.
But that's the thing people are saying in the chat about like, oh, you know, it's lame. Oh, creepypasta. No one cares about creepypasta. Of course, the convention was never going to happen. And yes, that's all true. But the point is not that these guys were, you know, foolish and acted with complete fucking hubris. The point is that these guys were so vindictive and mean that they sank their own convention by climbing into bed with some of the worst fuckers in the community. And they did it for clout. Because they could have run this convention without fucking MCP. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. I wouldn't. I don't think a creepypasta convention is a good idea, but you could have probably made it happen. And people would have shown up. I think doing it in 2020 is a bad idea. I think doing it in 2015 would have been better. But I think some people would have shown up, kids especially, and they would have worn costumes. You could have had some fun with it. But I think aligning yourself with people who really are scum. And again, these people have never... look at this. Updates. This was the update. One announcement. Gather all the famous and infamous. Well, certainly you did all right on the second one. People who dox, who threaten. I mean, these people. It's really fascinating. If you, it's difficult for me to go through it all now because I would have to. It's not all written down. I would have to play even more video clips, which I don't want to keep doing for the whole thing. But these guys, again, I'm Old Man Murphy, Mr. Creepypasta, and these guys. Not only made threats, flippantly made threats on their Discord server about certain people in the community. I'd like to remind people that Slime Beast, the author who compiled the CreepyLeaks document, was and probably still is, I don't know, but at the time caring for his elderly wheelchair-bound mother. Yeah. And which. They all thought was terribly funny and would make fun of him a lot for. Which, I mean, whatever. It's a dickhead thing to do, but you know, just being edgy. Until they started sending obscene parcels to her to send him a message. Yep. Now, Mr. Creepypasta has faced no consequences. Let's put that ridiculous face back on the screen to be made fun of. I'm not saying she's got a ridiculous face, just the expression she's making. Look at these are the things I watch, apparently, or that we all watch. Now, let's have a look at Mr. Creepypasta, shall we? I don't have a Y key, so hopefully there it is, Mr. Creepypasta. 1.5 million subscribers. 1.9 thousand views on a video that came out 46 minutes ago. This guy's doing fine. This guy doxed people. Sent threatening packages to a person who he had no interactions with, had nothing to do with them, who was, basically his only crime was having a son that they didn't like. Somebody who was elderly and disabled. And of course, had an affair and, knocked up some tart behind his wife's back. I mean, this guy... Oh, and spent his fans' money. Yep. Made let's not forget, this guy made a Kickstarter and then spent the money on a holiday in a suit of armour. Fuck him. So yes, it's all funny. We're all having a bit of a laugh, making fun of this cringy convention. Which yes, it's cringy, and it's funny to make fun of it. Oh. But make no mistake. What is it you're pointing at? Oh, I'm just looking because I like it's like what these people do, like their things, like the Jeff the Killer. Yeah. Need we say more? I mean, you can say more about how he rigged the competition so he could win. Yeah. But. Yeah, make no mistake about these people. Yes, they're cringy. Yes, we should make fun of them for being cringy. But no, we shouldn't go, well, they've got their fans and that's okay. No, these people are scum. They are. Just because they're not Onision, they're not grooming kids, doesn't mean they're not committing crimes. But this community that I am sadly affiliated with by virtue of doing the show that I do, this community is a cesspool. And if you look at what happened to Doug Walker after #changed the channel and the channel not so awesome document, that fucking sank his website. It really did. No one gives a shit about this. Their convention was sunk, and maybe it had something to do. I think it certainly had something to do. It didn't help these things that they discussed, these leaks. I think certainly harmed the convention, and it harmed public faith in the convention.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, Mr. Creepypasta is still doing fine. Old Man Murphy is still doing fine. These people have never suffered any consequences for their actions, because this community cares too much about staying relevant. It's like, oh, Creepypasta's dying, no one cares about it anymore. The guys who are famous, we gotta hold on to them for dear life. We can't lose them, else the whole community will sink. Let it sink.
I want it to sink.
Let the community die.
Yeah, Michelle, Creepypasta is a big dumpster fire.
Did other people pay tickets for the convention that might happen? So to the best of my knowledge, it never got further than the vague planning stages. It was only online and being discussed for about a month. And then it vanished. It wasn't deleted, which is the thing I find particularly bizarre. It was abandoned. It was abandoned like the fucking Mary Celeste. We don't really know what happened.
And it was all on the same day.
Yeah.
Which was one of the...
I mean, here, the food's still warm. There are warm cigarettes in the ashtrays right here. But there's no sign of a struggle. What happened to this convention? You know, a mix of poor planning, hubris, and some bad behaviour, which was leaked to the public, sure. But it's a strange event. But it never got as far as selling tickets, thank goodness. But I'm sure that these guys... I'm not going to name anyone in particular as a scumbag, you know. I'm not going to say any particular person is the scumbag out of these guys. I don't want to be held responsible for any kind of slander. So, you know, draw your own conclusions. But there are certain people who I think would have kept that money for themselves. And if Mr. Creepypasta and his ilk of spineless cunts had gotten their claws on it as well, you can bet your bottom dollar they would have blown it on whores and other, vices.
I feel like Jacob's trying to tell us something.
That's on you, mate. That's you interpreting things. That's you reading things into the stream.
Yep. Oh, Lord.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys that, like, the... the community is dead. No one cares anymore. But what I'm saying is there are people within this sort of horror sub-community that are still very successful and are still profiting off of their shitty behaviour. And this event, funny and ridiculous as it was, it didn't mean anything.
Nope.
And they're all still fine. And I don't know, I find that kind of sad. So, shall we volunteer? Can you still volunteer? Let's volunteer. We're going to send a volunteer thing, but we need to know what our what criteria we have to meet. And also, when I type in my letter, my keyboard does not have a Y key, so I'll have to. And of course, Creepypasta contains a Y, so I'll have to stab. The key is missing, but the little blob thing underneath that presses against the board is still there, so I can jab it with a needle. So that may take a little longer. King of the, what does it say? Titties. $10. My bottom dollar.
So the king of the tighties.
I want to say it's titty. I know it's 2 T's in titties, but, well, 3 T's at T-I, double T. But regardless, it's king of the titties.
King of the titties.
Watching Fella's review of Golden Films Beauty and the Beast when I got wrapped in the movie. Old man played me and say he.
It's like, no Y key, that's also Gemma's fault, calling it now.
I don't know what happened to the Y key.
Didn't Matt give you that and it had no Y key?
It's possible, yeah. He might have just given me the keyboard without a Y key in it. I don't think Matt gave me this keyboard. Oh, I don't fucking remember.
Because then it's like, or do you think that I gave it to you, took the Y, and you're like, and then I'll be like, oh, you're wondering why I would do that, Jacob?
I feel like you would do that, but...
Gemma's plotting to sabotage Jacob and calling it you guys.
So, let's have a read through what we need to do to volunteer. And then together, as a family, as a community, because hashtag we are you, what we're going to do, my friends, is we're going to write a comment here, which is required. We have to, you see.
I know people are going to see my email address.
Oh yes, yeah. Please send all your emails to this email address. Do people still use email? All right.
Gemma removed the Y key just to make that pun.
If you are interested in working with a team and want... Oh, sorry, this is all in capitals. If you are interested in working with the team and want to attend our weekly Discord meetings, please write volunteer submission at the top of your contact request.
Cope, Ashley's not. If you are interested in working with the team and want...
Fucking 4Kids voice. Below, please briefly describe your expertise. Marketing, finance, logistics. I love that putting on a convention is not in here. And your affiliation with Creepypasta, No Sleep, or any of the other short-form horror venues on the internet. Please remember, if you do volunteer, the expectations will be that you attend our weekly meeting. I'm sure it's still going on. Takes place at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Feel free to send questions using the contact page. We also need individuals who have expertise at writing non-fiction, who have journalism experience to assist in a project we are working on in correlation with the convention. Please don't hesitate to volunteer. I won't hesitate. I'm jumping right on it. Even if you don't have a set of skills, we can still find ways to utilize dedicated individuals. This is for the community, by the community, and our number one goal is to get everybody involved. Well, I'm a person in the community. I feel I ought to be involved. In fact, I'm sad I wasn't invited. So, in the subject, we have to write. What is it we have to write in the subject? I've forgotten already. I was too busy being dramatic. Volunteer submission. Subject? All right. Volunteer submission. Unfortunately, you can't do emojis on the keyboard because I'd like to put like a muscly arm there.
Yeah.
Volunteer submission. How about I just put fam? Let them know I'm a young person who's down with the language, the lingo. It's only fair that I put my email address in since everyone's seen yours. Ooh. Now, what should we say? I mean, I really want to be a volunteer at this convention. What should we write to really make ourselves stand out? To really seem like this is the guy I want volunteering at the official Creepypasta Convention 2020.
I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you...
I'll just tell them a little bit about myself, you know.
I'll just be like, hello, dark creeplings.
Fuck, I hate that.
It is I.
I, the writer of Boku no Piku.
Oh, you don't want to be... You don't want to be that. Tell them you're British.
I'm gonna put that on British. Okay.
McClunky.
Just hello! Exclamation mark. With 2020 just around the corner,
the proverbial corner.
Thank you, thank you, Gemma. Sorry about my slow typing. Around the proverbial corner, I am thrilled to offer, and of course the Y key is gone, so let me get a little needle, to offer my services as a volunteer for this fantastic and well-organized event.
Gemma, you should check your email because I'm a troll.
As a somewhat popular member of the creepy, for fuck's sake, I've written member, apparently. I can't write. Member of the Creepypasta community. You know what? Fucking Waikey. Fandom. Is a somewhat popular member of the Creepypasta fandom with experience in tourism and hosting live streams about hashtag creepy leaks and this convention and the gaggle of lunatics affiliated with it. Gaggle or basket of lunatics?
Oh,
I don't know, I like both of those.
Yes.
Basket, gaggle. People are actually voting whether we should have basket or gaggle. Gaggle is more British sounding. Horde. Gaggle's a funnier word. Mob, I like mob. Though I don't want lunatics if I say mob, because mob of lunatics sounds quite threatening. Mob of imbeciles, I think. This convention and the gaggle of lunatics affiliated with it, I feel I'd be an ideal member of the team. I don't think I have the sticky key. I have to like ideal addition to your team. Where's my mouse gone? I've put the mouse down somewhere. That's what I've done. What to do now? Gemma, you must help me find the missing mouse.
Nice.
I'm useless without it. There we are.
There
Oh,
it is.
and I've closed everything. There we are. I feel that EO, be an ideal addition to your team. Creepy Leaks and this convention, I should put an ampersand there because otherwise I'm using and twice in a way that doesn't make grammatical sense. And the gaggle of lunatics affiliated with it. I feel that I would be an ideal addition to your team.
Gemma, eat pant. Thank you.
I have never been involved with a sex scandal, nor have I misappropriated funds donated. Where is?
You should say as a somewhat popular British member of the Creepypasta fandom.
Where have those headphones gone? There they are. I need them to stab the Y key. I've never been involved with a sex scandal, nor have I misappropriated funds donated by. Oh, for fuck my! Damn it! By my. No! My. Outsmarted by a keyboard. Funds there by. Funds donated by my. Is that what gullible? I think it is. By my gullible and largely teenage fan base. best of all, I have never threatened anyone with violence for criticizing my shit behavior. Plus, I'm English, and apparently that's important.
Apples and pears. You should also say that you often refer to umbrellas as bumper shoots.
Just having a look through the chat. That's what I was thinking, Palpy, with the ideal edition. I was thinking of General Grievous. Bumbush. I've never heard that in my life. Okay, what have we got so far? All right. If anyone's got any suggestions for improvements in the chat, let me know. Also, send me your money so I can spend it on cocaine and things, and not on improving the channel. Hello, with 2020 just around the proverbial corner, I am thrilled to offer my services as a volunteer for this fantastic and well-organised event. As a somewhat popular member of the Creepypasta fandom with experience in tourism and with hosting live streams about creepy leaks and this convention and the gaggle of lunatics affiliated with it, I feel that I would be an ideal addition to your team. I have never been involved with a sex scandal, nor have I misappropriated funds donated by my gullible and largely teenage fanbase. Best of all, I have never threatened anyone with violence for criticising my shitty behaviour. Plus, I'm English, and apparently that's important. I think that's quite good. Is anyone...
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo.
You have been not enough bees, though.
So it's like, say the N-word somewhere super casually.
Just like hide it in there.
I'd remove the apparently part, because you just go, plus I'm England, and that's important. So yes, add that in, Gemma. That was brilliant. Thank you. I like when people call me brilliant.
I think that's good enough.
Your pal, Co.
Why am I giving these people my real email address? I mean, that feels like a bad fucking move.
Just give them my email address.
Okay. Don't you care? Like, I don't know. They'll probably just dox us. Mind you, everybody fucking knows who we are anyway, don't they? I'll just use mine. I'm just like doing this for a joke. I'm like, this is a bad idea. The reality of it. It's like I'm now intentionally antagonising people who have who've made it their business to dox their enemies time and time again.
Assert your dominance by using your real email.
Yeah, let's do it. That's my real email address. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, I got an email from someone I got an email from Bean Daddy.
Okay, I think this is really good. I'm just seeing if there's anything we can improve on this. I've never been involved in a sex scandal, nor have I misappropriated fan sites with my gullible and largely teenage fan base. Best of all, I have never threatened anyone with violence for criticising my shitty behaviour. Plus, I'm English, and that's important. I hope we can work together. Your pal, Cobe. Submit.
Honestly, you're kind of immune to doxing since you already put yourself out there. Jacob, you've also got an email, apparently. Like, go back. No, you can't go back.
It's like, it's too fucking late now, my dude.
Can you print screen?
Sure, let me just make the screen a little smaller. Oh, it's fucking Windows, isn't it? It doesn't just save it when you print screen. You have to fucking copy and paste it somewhere. Ugh. I'll just zoom out a little and then, you know, you can always screenshot the phone, can't you? There we are. Whoop. Boo. There's my email address, by the way, guys. If anybody feels like sending me some emails, there it is. I don't really care.
Also, mine was there.
Yeah. Just going full Chris Chan. Just start taking emails from the public.
I'm usually one to answer. I mean, I answered Bean Daddy. Like, say you've never cheated on your spouse with a vulnerable fan. That seems to be common among that lot.
Say you've never been Oh, I should have... I didn't have... The chat hadn't updated yet by the time I clicked send. Jesus. Like...
I will be exclusively sending lizard pictures.
That's fine. I love reptiles. We've got 2 crested geckos.
Yes, we do. And I would like a leopard one. I really do. They're so adorable.
Make an epic Big Chungus reference. I should have said, you know, Spike. If selected, I will grab Old Man Murphy by the ankles and mop the floor of a porno theatre with this funky Big Chungus looking ass.
You should have also written down what your favourite anime was and what Nightmare Before Christmas character you identify with.
Let's be honest, these guys are never going to see this, are they? Because they've probably never looked at this WordPress account since they put the website up. But if they bother to reply, it'll be hilarious and I will do a video about their reply.
Yes. Jeff the Killer 2015 is my favourite episode of Bad Creepypasta. That's cool. Oh, you forgot your preferred pronouns.
I haven't learned from Jeremy Corbyn. Oh, I fucking did it, boys. Pretty happy with that.
Daniel Giovanello.
I'm going to email you my very lengthy fan fiction about a love parallelogram between you, Gemma, Tobe, and Matt. Please do not. I mean, thank you for the donation, but please do not write that fan fiction. And if you do, maybe keep it to yourself. So, we are but a few months away from the Creepypasta convention.
Do it like Film Brain.
But a few minutes away from the Creepypasta convention. I'm starting to doubt if this thing will really happen.
Thank you.
Why do people watch my content in 2019? Jacob, check your Gmail. Alright, but I'm not putting it on the screen. I'm going to do it from my phone. Partly because I can't remember my login details. Alright, I've logged me into the wrong account. Logged me into my YouTube one. Hang on. I told you. So a voice of reason has just sent me I told you and there's nothing in it. I told you to, this time with pictures, and it's, it looks like, I can't quite tell. It could be a bearded dragon, maybe? It's a reptile, anyway. King of the Tighties, or Titties, spooky scary skeletons from me, King of the Titties. Chad Striner has emailed me saying, McClunky. It's about what I expected from people.
Can I email you a picture of my gecko?
Always. Yeah, send your pets. Absolutely.
Yeah, we have 2 crested geckos.
We're not really allowed anything other than that. When our landlord doesn't want us having proper pets. So, we can't have cats or anything like that.
Yeah, we've got Spike and, Gustav is not ours, but I'm looking after him.
Mr. Snack Mix says, give these 5 Dolans to Logan Cobe. No gaming setups or beach houses. What if I put it towards a suit of... When Film Brain virtue signaled about not putting in a joke. Yeah, what a cunt. Like, why mention a joke? If you go, that joke's not appropriate, I'm going to cut it. Just cut it. Either give a warning about the joke and be like, there's a joke I left in here, it was before the tsunami. It's just remember that I wrote this before the tsunami. And I debated taking it out, but I've opted not to. Or just cut the joke. But don't go, there's a joke in this review which I cut out because I didn't think it was very tasteful.
Can the next live stream be 4 hours of you telling anecdotes about your crab friend?
I mean, I think so. I don't know if I can make it 4 hours because I probably spent about 20 minutes with the little guy. But yeah, I mean, we can do our best.
We sang "Best Friends" by Harry Nilsson. It was very sweet and.
It's better than getting a bunch of NSFW pics from crazy fans. I've said this a million times. I have the best fan base. We've got no creeps. It's incredible.
Yep.
No one ever writes lewd fan fiction. There's no Rule 34 of us. Nobody ever sends us nudes. Like, the weirdest things I get from people are memes, and sometimes people will send selfies with very little context. That's about it. I'm like, cool. It's good. I like it. I never stumbled into that part of the community. I think because the whole channel's always been very cynical. If you're new to this channel, surprise, surprise, we're kind of mean. It's kind of our thing. The whole thing's very, very cynical, and we are not. We're not the kind of people who would attract those kind of creeps.
No.
So we're not doing. We're not because we're not appealing to mainstream audiences, I think. Okay, so what happened here? Next time, be a little less transparent when you send your sidekicks to do your dirty work. Let's have a look.
I would start from the top.
Oh, I went up at the top. All right. This is the top, yeah. Oh, that's the top. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I remember Creepy and Problematic. They were always fucking tweeting about me, of all people.
Oh,
I ended up having to block them. I thought they were a satire account, and I'm still not convinced they weren't. I'd forgotten all about them. Look at this. Exposing prejudice, hate speech, and general toxic behaviour in the online horror fandom. Let's make this a better place to be. So I think one of two things, but they're both a little bit tinfoil hatty. I think that Creepy and Problematic was either a Poe, or it was an insidious thing to make the detractors of people like Mr. Creepypasta look bad because we were all bigots.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those two. I don't think it was sincere for a second. Devil on my shoulder. Tell me you need a witch. Come right in. This person is following Shadman and Creepy and Problematic. Yeah, it's fucking mental, isn't it? What happened? It's so crazy. Like the harassment and everything that went on. 48 hours of silence. It's been a lot longer since then. See, July 22nd. Been 48 hours of silence from the Pasta Con 2020 since the event. Now, we were debating this earlier, weren't we? What the event was. And we think the event was the leaking of the death threats. But we can't say for certain because he just says the event. So here's another thing that happened as well, which I think is worth discussing. Again, Slime Beast is always very useful in these things. He's this is him talking about shit that was personally happening to him, but I mean, even when it's not, any of this kind of drama, he's always very useful to have.
Started talking about the Creepypasta convention and the people involved. There's been a rash of fake impersonation accounts impersonating me, posted up to various social media websites. YouTube, Vimeo, Instagram, Imgur, I don't know, all different places like that, all impersonating me in my real name, using my photographs, and posting my, location where I live, basically doxing me, as you can see on your screen here. Now, I just wanted to make a quick video sort of showing proof that this leads back to the Creepypasta convention people, namely Old Man Murphy, Well Hey Productions, and his band of idiots. So we've got a picture of the...
Band of idiots, that's what I should have said.
I'm not going to show the actual picture, and the reason for that is I basically want to take any joy out of this that these people may feel. So I'm not going to show you any of the super funny things they did. But what I'm going to do is show you this comment here. Want to see my head come off, from Matthew Fike. Got Mr. Fike here commenting on this. We also have the people who have favorited it or liked it.
I mean, there's quite a lot of this here, but the crux of it is that people were doxing him and using his real name and posting stupid pictures and posting his real location and stuff like that, which is, again, effectively, it turns out that the Creepypasta convention staff put out the personal information, which was then confirmed by Mr. Blackpasta, who I believe I am blocked by, or at least I was. A lot of guys who did have me blocked don't anymore. Quite a few people in the Creepypasta community do still have me blocked on Twitter. Again, people I never slagged off outwardly. People I asked a question and I'd often get blocked. Or people would block me who I'd never spoken to, like Old Man Murphy blocked me for like a year.
Yeah, and me.
Alright, so this is interesting. Skeleton's twin, alright? The tweet. Yeah, it looks like work with Malthus is required specifically this evening. Short of barriers, want to bring down empires and to run enemies ragged. A harsh bird of plague with little mercy. Which is, I mean, how did I know you would look like that?
I do witchcraft, shitpost, and eat pizza with Lucifer. Gender fluid, pronouns, she, he, potato.
Again, I know it's a little cheap of me to make fun of people based on their appearance, but how did I know this person would look? I'm not saying it's a bad appearance, I'm not having a go. I'm just saying, how did I know from their tweet that they would look like that?
Yeah.
They just always.
Was Creepypasta involved in any of this? No.
I have to ask, from the various things I've heard, the Creepypasta convention has been cancelled because audio that was leaked, a few of the convention members talking about killing somebody they don't like. That's a bit above me. I've been busy taking care of my wife to pay this much. Sorry, dear. So in other words, I know about as much as you do. And this was on July 27th. It was the day after the final post was made. Mm-hmm. And again, 2 days after the first leak and 1 day after the second leak. So K-Ben and Kellum and Vincent Vinocarv are discussing killing Slime Beast, which because we played the audio of earlier, and there's no doubt at all. They were very open about it. There was no doubt that they were talking about murdering someone. So yeah, I mean, what an event! It starts, it starts with a bunch of clueless morons saying we want to make a convention. We don't know how to do it. We have no experience. But by golly, we just really want this thing to happen. And then it starts picking up a little bit of steam in the community. And Well Hey Productions, Vince Vinicarva, Mr. Creepypasta, that entire, nest of vipers all get involved. And then, boom, it goes from being, hey guys, let's make this convention and we'll hire a bunch of Creepypasta celebrities, quote unquote celebrities. And yeah, but people see them as celebrities, whatever. We'll dress in costumes, we'll have some panels, we'll have some fun. And it goes from that, within a matter of weeks, to let's murder a person who is trying to expose the shitty behaviour of some of our volunteers. Not even like, oh, this person hates us and wants to shut the event down for no reason. This is a person who compiled a document about the despicable behaviour of people we've invited to help us with this event.
Yep.
The smart thing to do would have been to distance yourselves from, they didn't even go into like damage control. They should have just gone, oh right, well you guys did all this horrible shit, so I don't think we can work together. I'm sorry, but it's not good business for us to work together. But yeah, it went from just these guys having a laugh to that's just cringy. Yeah, it went from these guys trying to have some fun, come up with a convention and do something positive, to threatening people with violence over a period of weeks. And I think that's very very sad and very telling of the kind of people that we're trying to run this convention. This convention, I think we can all agree, will never see the light of day.
Yep.
It's never going to happen. And I think we're all better off with it not going to happen, with it not happening. But I suppose that's it. There's nowhere else to go. We have covered the entire story, or at least the parts that I thought were interesting enough to really contribute to the overall thing. I hope very much you've enjoyed being here with us and talking about this convention. What I would like to ask people in the chat is such a thing possible? Not necessarily Creepypasta, because I do think that Creepypasta, its heyday is over. But let's say online horror in general. So, Creepypasta, but also things, other forums, ARGs, miniseries on YouTube. This online horror, which is very different to old media horror. Could you do a convention of that nature? Would people show up? Would you go if the right guests were there? I'm interested to know, because this was such a colossal failure. I'm interested to know how they could have fixed it. What would you have done differently? You know what I would have done differently, which is not announce things when we didn't have anything, not climb into bed with utter scumbags. If I accidentally climbed into bed with utter scumbags, I wouldn't double down and start threatening people with violence.
Yeah.
But what would you have done?
I think personally for me, I think that a whole convention dedicated to it would not work.
I agree. I think a part of a larger convention, some panels.
Yeah, like a day, like it was like if it was a horror convention that lasted like maybe 5 days, and it'd have a day, or even half a day dedicated to it, I think it would work. It was like Dashcon. Dashcon didn't work because they needed to, like, it did hell a lot better than Creepypasta Con.
Well, Dashcon almost had the opposite problem, because Dashcon was too... This, in many ways, although this certainly wasn't their biggest problem, one of the problems with the Creepypasta convention, by its very nature, was that it was too specific, too small. Dashcon was too vague.
Yeah.
It was too broad. It was a convention for a website, for a blogging website full of, porn supernatural fan shippings, all kinds of shit, and a huge amount of bullying.
Yeah.
This very weird specific website, but it covered a lot of different fandoms. Tumblr, it's almost like having a Facebook convention. It seems bizarre and kind of pointless.
Yeah. Like BronyCon, for instance, like knows what it was doing, like what it does. It's a fan convention for people who love My Little Pony. Like that has taken its little niche, and it's taken its little area of Tumblr, because you know that bronies are on Tumblr, and that's sort of taken that, and they've made their own convention about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it should work. If that, you can't have like such a broad subject be. Yeah, it's like a mixture. So you have to have it. It can't be too broad, or it can't be too. It can't be too like obscure either.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think. I think the consensus in amongst the chat, and I'm not surprised, is that no, it can't be done. And now I think that you could do a convention for online horror, and be it again a bit more broad than just creepypasta, because as I say, creepypasta's day in the sun is over. But I think it would have to be a small single day event.
Yeah, it could be like a 2-3 event.
You look at some of the older conventions that there used to be in sci-fi conventions. Sci-fi conventions I went to as a kid, small events with a couple of guests and things, and very cheap tickets, and some good stalls and some good food. You could make something fun. But again, you'd have to have really good guests and really good organisation. And I don't think anyone within the sort of online horror world in that sphere really would be interested in doing it. That's the thing. I don't think conventions are almost old-fashioned now. They're almost old hat. And the idea of people who are part of what we call new media doing something that's so intrinsically linked to the sort of older media, like film and TV and comic books, it doesn't seem like something that could ever work. I'd like to be proven wrong, because conventions are fun and silly. And I'd like these lunatics to come out of the woodwork and go, yeah, we're still doing the convention. It would be hilarious. And I would go. I mean, I expect after that email I will be banned, but, I would go and document it for this channel, because I think it would be terribly funny.
I think so too.
But I want to thank you all for coming. I really hope you've had a good time. I've certainly enjoyed making fun of these people. And again, it's always good to have an audience of people that I can expose the shitty behaviour of certain YouTubers, and other, not just YouTubers, but people within a community. People who are successful and who do Con 1994. People who are successful and, they threaten people and they abuse people and they are monstrous, and it hasn't affected their career. And it should. And I hope that every person who's come to this live stream, if you didn't know already, has taken something away from that. And I hope you've had fun making fun of these guys. But I know obviously we're shutting it down, so there's quite a few people have left. But earlier on, when the numbers were quite high in the chat, I hope that some of you guys have taken something, because a lot of you guys didn't know about some of the shitty behaviour from Old Man Murphy and Mr. Creepypasta and all these other people. Yeah, I hope you've had fun, in spite of how dark certain parts of it were. And I hope if some of you, it'll be nice for my peace of mind if some of you unsubscribe from some of these guys. Not asking you to. Just saying it'd be nice if that was a knock-on effect of talking about these issues. Because while there is fun to be had, these are also important issues that are happening within this quote-unquote community. But I think I'm going to wrap it up there.
Okay.
I'm going to have myself a warm drink. We should have bought mulled wine. That would have been nice. Oh well. A cup of tea it is. I'll see you all for the next one. The next live stream, which will probably be a video game one. So I'll see you then, guys. And here you are in the Phantom